fine. So this is all about Zika. So now let us discuss poliovirus. Polio is again in the outlet of going. They say that polio is the words of eradication. Yes or no? Polio, that is why the any disease which is important for exam, either it is a new disease in the market or if the disease is going from the market, both the places it is important for exam. So Zika virus is new in the market, whereas polio is now going to be extincted from the community. So of course 3 serotypes are there. Type 1 serotype is the most common cause of wild cases. Okay, most common cause of epidemics, and it is the only serotype that can cause wild case now. Currently it is the only serotype that can cause natural cases. Wild case means what? Natural cases. Whereas type 2 not reported since 1999, that is, it is already eradicated since ages. However, it is the most common cause of VTPV. VTPV is vaccine derived poliovirus, and please remember it is the most antigenic among all the 3. It is the most antigenic among all the 3. Type 3 is not reported, no natural case since 2013. Okay, that is why I told you now only type 1 natural cases are there, and it is the most common cause of VAP. What is VAP? Vaccine associated paralytic poliomyelitis. Please remember both the terms are slightly different than each other. I will explain later. Okay. So now let us discuss about the pathogenesis. Pathogenesis, there is nothing much to know because poliovirus is quite a common virus. You all know the mode of transmission is fecal-oral mode, and from GIT, how it spread to the CNS, I mean the nervous system, which is the target site. The target site is anterior horn. Anterior horn cells are the target site. The receptors for poliovirus, the host cell receptor is CD155. CD155 molecules are the host cell receptor for poliovirus. So now you tell me how it spreads from GIT to the nervous system. They say that hematogenous spread is the most common route, followed by direct neural spread, and this direct neural spread is seen especially following tonsillectomy. That is why tonsillectomy is a very important risk factor. Following tonsillectomy or maybe heavy exercise or IM injection, all these are the conditions where direct neural spread may be possible. Otherwise, hematogenous spread is the most common spread. And again MCQ is nasal body degradation. The nasal body denaturation is the earliest change. Degeneration of nasal body is the earliest pathological change in neuron. And again a MCQ what they ask is poliovirus, always the pathological change is more than the extent of neural involvement, extent of paralysis you can say. The pathological change is always more than the extent of paralysis. And you know that regarding the clinical stages, there are 4 stages. Most of the cases are asymptomatic, or which is called as inapparent infection. Inapparent, 91 to 96% of cases are asymptomatic, followed by non-specific symptom or called as abortive infection. Abortive means non-specific symptom. The next stage is, the next variety is non-paralytic poliomyelitis characterized by aseptic meningitis, and the rarest variety is paralytic poliomyelitis. And please remember, the paralysis is always, the description of the paralysis is descending, asymmetric, acute, flaccid paralysis. The description is always important. Descending, asymmetric, acute, flaccid paralysis involving proximal muscle earlier than distal muscle. Involving proximal muscle earlier than distal muscle. And please remember, there is no sensory loss. And because proximal muscles are involved earlier than the distal muscle, that means which joint is involved earlier, hip or knee? Proximal joints are involved earlier, so hip muscles are involved earlier. That is why the tripod sign is there. That is why the child sits with tripod sign, that is with flexed hip. The child sits with flexed hip. Okay, so this is all about the various laboratory diagnosis, and laboratory diagnosis not much important for exam. The specimen of choice will be blood, throat swab, CSF and stool. Stool for the longest 6 to 8 weeks it will be detected in stool. And please remember, the stool culture is recommended for AFP surveillance. For for acute flaccid paralysis surveillance, the stool culture is the recommended method, and primary monkey cell line is the most commonly used cell line. Okay. Antibodies can be detected by neutralizing antibodies can be detected, or even complement fixing antibodies are also detected, but stool culture is the most recommended method. Okay. In polio, what is important for exam is vaccine. How many vaccines are there? Which is live, which is killed? OPB is live, IPV is injectable and killed. Which is Sabin, which is Salk? OPB is Sabin, killed is Salk. K for killed and Salk. Now you tell me advantages, disadvantages. We will not go into the detail because polio is going to be extincted. Just to tell me the advantages and disadvantages of OPB and IPV. First you tell about OPB. OPB, the advantages are more or disadvantages are more? More advantages, of course, that is why OPB was the vaccination of choice for ages. The advantages, of course, orally effective. It is a live vaccine, hence they say that mucosal immunity is possible. Mucosal or local immunity. Feco-oral spread is possible. The feco-oral spread of vaccine virus. This was the reason behind herd immunity. The feco-oral spread of vaccine virus can lead to herd immunity. Okay, it is cheaper also. Sabin is much more cheaper than Salk. And this is the vaccination of choice during epidemic. During epidemic, only OPV is given because fecal spread, so the immunity will be achieved faster. All these are advantages. But the drawback of OPV is, same as the advantages of IPV. So the drawback of OPV or the advantages of IPV will be, IPV is useful in immunocompromised patient, whereas OPV is not given in immunocompromised. IPV is more stable, whereas OPV is unstable. They say that the stability is increased by storing at -20° centigrade, as well as magnesium chloride is added as a stabilizer for OPV, whereas IPV is relatively more stable. Okay, and OPV, one more disadvantage is interference. Interference means what? Presence of one virus prevent the entry of other virus. OPV contains how many serotypes? OPV vaccine contains how many? Trivalent OPV, 3 serotypes are there. So whichever serotype goes into your epithelial cell, that will prevent the entry of other 2 serotypes. So you may take all 3 strains, but you may not be protected against all 3 strains. And you know that now type 1 only is the type 2 and 3 are not there. So if type 2 and 3 will be infected in your GIT, that will prevent the entry of type 1, and type 1 only is required for you. So viral interference is again a reason. Apart from viral interference, other interference like interference during breastfeeding and interference during diarrheal episode. See, breastfeeding is going on and you have given OPV. Soon after, if you breastfeed the child, then OPV will be washed away. Diarrheal episode is going on here, and if you give OPV will be washed away. So all these are the drawbacks. But can you tell me which is the major drawback of OPV? All these drawbacks are there from before. Still then OPV is used. But what is the major drawback of OPV which is not there in IPV? Vaccine induced cases. The vaccine induced cases are 0 in IPV. It is there only in OPV. And because of the vaccine induced cases, now there is a question that OPV should be replaced by IPV in India as well as in the world. So the vaccine induced cases are of 2 types. One is VAP, other one is VDPV. VAP is vaccine associated paralytic poliomyelitis. VDPV is vaccine derived poliovirus. So VAP are the cases, VDPV are the strains. Yes or no? VAP occurs due to OPV like strain. OPV like strain, they differ from OPV by less than 1% genetic difference. They say that you give OPV to the most of the children. In some children, OPV will undergo a mutation and will become OPV like strain. Those OPV like strain where the mutation is less than 1% of the genetic change, such OPV like strain can cause VAP. However, because the genetic difference is not much, so if you have a high population immunity, like for example in India OPV is widespread. Everybody, all the children will receive OPV. So most of the Indians will have high population immunity against OPV, will have antibodies against OPV. So the genetic difference is not much, only less than 1%. So if the community has high population immunity against OPV, our antibody titer is more against OPV, then it will prevent the circulation in the community. So OPV like strains, they usually do not circulate in the community. Then who will get VAP? VAP occurs only to the OPV recipient. The recipient to whom you are given OPV, if that OPV undergoes mutation and will become OPV like strain, then that can cause VAP to that particular child or to their immediate contact. Immediate contact, like with the children to whom the child is playing, those immediate surrounding children only will get OPV like strain via the fecal-oral spread. But it doesn't circulate in the community. Long distance it cannot go because high population immunity will prevent. Clear? And of course, VAP, the most common serotype is type 3 followed by 2 followed by 1. This is the sequence of VAP. Type 3 is the most common cause of VAP, followed by 2 followed by 1. And the occurrence of VAP is 4 cases per 1 crore of OPV dose. 4 cases per 1 crore of OPV dose. That means the cases are more or less. The cases are less when you have more number of natural cases. But the situation like this, when there is no natural cases now in the world, even few VAP cases also will make difference or not. Yes, that is why there is a high possibility of switchover of OPV to IPV. So this is about VAP. In contrast, what is VDPV? VDPV is vaccine derived poliovirus, and these viruses, they differ from OPV by more than 1% genetic difference. The genetic difference is more than 1%. The genetic difference is more than 1%. That is why they say that population immunity do not prevent the spread of the vaccine virus. The VDPV viruses, they can go to the distant sites also, because the population immunity cannot prevent the state. So that is why it can go to the distant places, and they say that it will be residing in the environment, and sometimes they can cause infection also. Mainly it resides in the distant environment. Sometimes it can cause infection also. That is why the occurrence we don't know. How much of VAP cases, how much of VDPV cases, it is very difficult to assess. Very difficult to assess the number of VDPV cases, because it may be there in the environment also. The most common type is type 2. Type 2 is responsible for most of the VDPV cases. But please remember, in 2015, the most common cause of VDPV was type 1. So if they ask for 2015, you can write type 1, but otherwise the most common cause of VDPV is type 2. Okay. And there are 3 types of VDPV. Circulating VDPV, immunodeficiency associated VDPV, and ambiguous VDPV. This was asked in AIIMS 2015. Which is not a VDPV? C VDPV, I VDPV, A VDPV, M VDPV was there. Answer was M VDPV. So you just remember the expansion C for circulating VDPB, I for immunodeficiency associated VDPB, A for ambiguous VDPB strains. Okay, so this is all about the vaccine cases, very very important for exam. Now I will tell you the polio situation in world. This is also is important for exam. Polio situation in world. What are the countries the polio is endemic now? PAN countries, true or false? What is PAN country? Pakistan, Afghanistan. That's all. Polio is endemic only in Pakistan and Afghanistan. Nigeria is now polio free. Okay, so Pakistan and Afghanistan only are the two countries. Till January 2016, they say that I will tell you the 2015 data. 2016 data anyway it will vary from month to month. 2015 the whole year they say that only 71 natural cases. In contrast to 2014 which has witnessed 359 cases. I am talking about natural cases. So 2015 the cases were much more reduced. Okay, and of course Pakistan accounted for maximum cases. Okay, India has been reported as polio free since 2014. The last case was reported in January 2011 in India. Okay, January 2011, and 2015 at the same time you can remember 71 natural cases and 21 CVDPB cases. Circulating VDPB cases were reported in the world. The entire world has reported 71 natural cases and 21 VDPB cases. Okay, so this is about the polio situation. Now I will tell you about end game strategy. End game strategy is a strategy which was put forth for the eradication of polio. What are the principles to be followed? What are the strategies to be followed when the polio is going to be eradicated? There are 4 important principles of end game strategy. First is interruption of polio virus transmission. The polio virus transmission has to be interrupted. Then switchover of an only OPV schedule to a OPV IPV schedule, and gradually you will have a only IPV schedule. So this switchover is important. Third is containment. They say that containment of polio virus from all resources, including lab. This is important or not? You will tell that the polio is eradicated, but there will be some research going on polio virus in certain hospitals or in certain institutes, labs. After some time, the research strains will be spread in the community. So it cannot be allowed. In smallpox, that was the reason why one outbreak had happened. So now they say that we cannot allow that containment of the vaccine virus or the polio wild virus from all the resources, including the laboratory. And the last is, once the polio is eradicated, what you are going to do with the infrastructure? polio eradication program is one of the richest program of the world. So many millions, trillions of money has been involved, and so much of infrastructure, so much of manpower has been used. So what you are going to do with that infrastructure? So they say that it is called as polio legacy plan. Polio legacy plan is the infrastructure has to be shifted to other healthcare program in a planned manner. Okay, it has to be shifted to other healthcare program in a planned manner. I mean, that planning also has to be done from the beginning only. This endgame strategy is applied for 2013 to it is applied from 2013 to 2018. This is the period where the endgame strategy is applicable, and they say that from the beginning only you have to do the planning of diversing the fund for other healthcare programs. Okay, so this is all about polio. Now I will tell you one important thing. They ask that what criteria has been followed now. They say that now there is a, in 2016 Government of India has planned that we have to start using IPV and bivalent OPV. So what protocol has been designed is IPV has been introduced from November 2015.